Good morning, students. I hope that you did really well on your homework last night. We're going to go over that first thing as soon as we pray. And so let's start there. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for another day. I pray that you bless our families that are represented at Grace Christian School, help them all to get to full health and just enjoy the time that you've given them, and that they're back here with us soon. I thank you for the math class. I pray you help me to explain things in a way that they'll understand and that they'll do well on their quizzes and tests. Thank you so much for caring about us and answering our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, speaking of quizzes, I think I got them all in and everybody did really well, so I'm excited about that. If you were here, we'd be doing a speed drill today. I'm sorry you're not here, so you can't jump up and earn some candy, but we'll do some more of that when y'all get back in class. And so since we don't have the speed drill today, I am going to go ahead and end speed drills where y'all were, rather than trying to make those up when we get back. And so you'll see that on RenWeb. Your averages are pretty good there. And so before we start on the homework, I want to go over our flashcards again. I wish you were here that you could shout them out, but I'm hoping you're going to answer there at home and just impress your parents to death at how great y'all can do. Of course, yesterday we talked about percent of increase. Today we're going to talk about percent of decrease. So it's so important that you do know how to change from percentages to decimals, decimals to percentages. And so that's why we're going to practice these now and just get your brain turning it really good. Okay, say them out loud. Even though I can't hear you, we'll see what we do here. Okay, this one, 0.256. This one, 0.727. Of course, we're going to decimal equivalents, so you hadn't figured that out. 0.0575. This one, 0.105. This one, 0.033. Again, 1.53. Are you getting all these right? 0.082. 1.3, 0.025, 0.19, 0.23. This one should be easy. 5, 0.07, 0.73, 0.01, 0.0925, and 0.04. Hopefully you got all those right, and that's just some good practice to keep your brain going, changing from decimals to percents and percents to decimals. All right, hopefully you have your book open to page 90. Let's go over, excuse me, your homework from last night. It says complete the chart, find the answer to the nearest whole percent at the bottom. Okay, it says cost before was 50 and the cost now is 75. Okay, and if you notice here, it already says percent of increase. You can tell by looking from 50 to 75, duh, that's some good analyzing. It's going up, so it's going to be increased. Okay, so when you get ready to do this, it'd be 50 over 75. If you can reduce it, and then your answer would be 50%. Okay, on number 2, 525 over 600. Remember, we're always doing small divided by large, or small on the top, the large number on the bottom. And when you reduce that one and move your decimal over, you should have 14%. And then on number 3, 18 over 24, reduce, and then do your long division, you should get 33%. And then number 4, 290 over 720, and you can reduce that one. And drop your zeros on that one also. And it looks crazy, but it is right. You move your decimal over like you're supposed to, and you'll get 148%. Okay, hopefully y'all got all those right. The next 5, 6, and 7 are right there beside it, and we're going to use some of our rules that we did before. Remember, number 1, if you can, you want to write it as a fraction. It makes it a lot easier to find your percent. Number 2, check to see if you can get the denominator to the hundreds. Because if you can, then you automatically know what percent that's going to be. I like that one because it's easy, and we have several of those on this particular section. Okay, and then the last one, of course, you do want to reduce. And then do your division. Okay, so look at number 5. You've got to make sure you set it up in the right order, because if you don't, then you're going to get the wrong answer, of course. So 12 is what percent of 20? Or if you were going to divide it, you can do 12 is what percent of 20? You can do it this way as well. But on this one, it's easy because we know we can get 20 to the hundreds in the denominator, so that you can multiply both of these by 5. And when you do that, you end up getting 60 on the top and 100 on the bottom. And you know when you have 100 on the bottom, it's already your percentage, so it's 60%. Okay? That was number 5. Number 6 has 25 is what percent of 40? Write it just as you read it, left to right. 25 is what percent of 40? And if you notice, when you write it this way, you're still doing small divided by large. Small number divided by large number, okay? But if you can do it in a fraction, sometimes it's a lot faster, so we can also write it this way. 25 divided by 40. Make sure I get my numbers right here. This one will reduce down to 5/8, and y'all have this one memorized. 5/8 is 0.625. It's a nice thing about memorizing those. Make sure you have not forgotten to keep looking at those and get them memorized. This fraction chart is on page 63, so make sure you're working on that. And then you just move your decimal over twice to get 62.5%. So that's the answer for number 6. And then number 7, you have 17 is what percent of 25? And again, on this one, we can get this into the hundreds by multiplying top and bottom by 4. So that makes that end up being 68/100, which means that's 68%. Okay, if you're here, I'd say raise your hand if you got 100%. I'm sure y'all probably did that. It's really good. You may have done long division. If you did long division, you're still going to come up with the same answer. It just takes a little bit longer if you did it this way. So that's why we try to learn how to teach you a shortcut so that you can get there quick and accurate. All right, turn the page to page 91. Let's look over and see how you did on these. Okay, these are solve the word problems. Hopefully you figured it out, set up your problem correctly, and did accurate math. So that would be great. I wish you were here so you could raise your hand and I could see how many of y'all got it 100%. But we'll just count on you to do it this way. Okay, Alexa brought 20 chocolate cookies and sugar cookies to the fall party in the ratio of 2 to 3. That does not mean 2 cookies to 3 cookies. It just means a ratio. Okay, that means she might have had 10 cookies on this side, and then 2 to 3 would make it a bigger amount on that side. So whenever you set up one like this, when it's a ratio, you've got to add these together. If they didn't already give you the total, you need to have the total to be on your bottom or the base. So 2 plus 3 is some easy math, which is all that small, easy. So 5's on the bottom. And then of the 2 here, you have to figure out which one you're going to use. This was chocolate, this was sugar, and if you read your question again, how many chocolate cookies do they want? So you want to use the chocolate one. That goes on the top. So you got 2/5. Okay? And then how many cookies were all together? Okay? They brought 20 all together, and y'all already know how to solve for right here. That's going to be your answer. So you figure out what times 5 will give you 20 and multiply it up there. Okay, so you multiply both of these by 4/4. That would give you 20. This will give you 8, and now that's your answer. 8 cookies were chocolate chip cookies, or chocolate cookies. I keep wanting to say chocolate chip. All right, if you didn't quite understand that, you can always email me and let me know. Okay, number 9. It says Mrs. Adams made 120 cookies. She gave 2/3 of them to the children's home. How many cookies did she give them? Okay, again, let's look at this one. Okay, 2/3 of 120 cookies. Y'all can do this all day long. Y'all probably already got it and did awesome on it. Okay, 2/3 of, we know of means to multiply 120. We can cancel this 3, because 3 will go in 120 40 times, and then you just have a simple math problem of 2 times 40, and we know now that she gave them 80 cookies. Okay? On the next one, for regular work hours, Isaac earns $88 per hour. For additional hours, he earns $12 per hour. Find the percent of increase. This is from yesterday when we talked about increase. Okay? On this one, you have to find out how much did it change between 12 hours, or $12, and $8. What was the difference in those first? Okay, so 12 minus 8 is 4. Okay, and so 4 is your numerator. And then you go with your original number. Okay, that's your original. It started with $8. So 8 goes on the base. Then we can reduce that easily to 1/2. And then you'll already know that 1/2 is the same as 50%. And to get 100% on your quizzes and tests, you've got to put the word there. You've got to say a 50% increase. So we know that his money went up 50%. Okay? He definitely don't want it to go down. Don't want it to go down. All right, number 11. Arnold's air conditioning service gave a bid of $2,000 to replace an air conditioner. Fraser's gave a bid that was 20% more. Hopefully you circle the more, see that? How much did the Frasers want to replace their air conditioner? Remember, if you have a more, you're gonna have to do some kind of adding in there, okay? Some kind of adding. The $2,000 that they were talking about to begin with, that's 100% of the cost of the air conditioner. So you're already at 100%. That's what they were gonna charge, $2,000. It's not going down, it's not going up, okay? And so we have to do that, but to make it more, we're gonna have to add something, and it says 20. So 100% plus 20%, yeah, 120%. Y'all got this all day long. Then you move your decimal over twice. So we got 1.2, and there's a 0, but make sure you don't use your 0 after a decimal, because if you do, you're gonna get the wrong answer. Your decimal's gonna be in the wrong place, okay? And so we're gonna take that 1.2 times 2,000, move it one place here. So that's gonna be $2,000, and you don't show your last one, $2,400. So that's how much that they wanted for that one. Hopefully y'all got all of that, and it's understandable, and that will be great. Okay, we're gonna go into our new lesson today now. You will have time at the end of class to finish up what is homework. I know on Wednesday we don't usually give homework, but you need to practice on it, and we'll go over it tomorrow. So I'll tell you what that is in just a little bit, but stay with me here before you go there. Just as a quick review, we already talked about the increase over here. We talked about if you increase something, it starts at 100%, okay? And then you add to get the increase, okay? Today we're gonna talk about decrease, all right? And sometimes you have to find out the difference, okay? I know a lot of y'all like to run through your math and do it really fast, and you do a really good job most of the time. But when you are starting to talk about percents of decrease and percents of increase, you have to pause a minute and really think what you're doing, because sometimes the way they word the problem, you have to do some subtraction to find the difference in the two. And then sometimes when they word the problem, they've already given you the difference and you don't have to do subtraction. So pause just a minute and make sure that you're thinking through the problem before you dive in and just try to find the answer. Okay, for example, on this one it said they had $60, now they have $45. Well, we don't know what the change was between the two, so you've got to subtract it. Okay, so take 60, gotta find the difference, minus 45, sorry, equals 15, okay? Now you can do your decrease percentage. Remember, you're looking for a percent, so anytime you're doing a percent, it's small divided by large, but you gotta know which numbers am I gonna grab to do that problem. Well, you just found out 15. 15 is gonna be on your top. And then you wanna go to your original number. Your original number was 60. So you're gonna put 60 on the bottom, okay? And then when you do that, you can reduce that down to 1/4. And you can, you already know that 1/4 is 0.25, move your decimal twice, or if you don't even need to do that one, you already know it's 25%. Okay, now we are not done. Whenever you get to problems that ask you for increase or decrease, you have got to put the words in there. If you don't put the words in there, then you're not gonna get 100%, and I want you to get 100% on your quizzes and tests. So, between 60 and 15, did it go down or up? And we know it went down. So you have to put the word decrease with your answer. So put decrease here, okay. Now the difference between this one and this one told you what you had at the beginning, this one told you what you had at the end. You had to find out the distance between them. On this one, they told you how much you had at the beginning, and now they told you how much you had at the end, okay? They've already done the math for you here. You didn't have to do any subtraction. I have 60 now, and now I have 30. They've already told you 30 is where it is now, okay? This one, you had to say that now I have 15, because it went down that much. Okay, let's set up this one and see if you understand it. When you don't have to do any subtraction, you just take what you have as your numerator, and again, your original number is gonna be your base. We can get rid of the zeros, and then we know 3 over 60 equals a half, and then you know that a half is 50%, and don't forget your word, decrease. And we're gonna work some of these problems in our book, and that'll help you kind of get this stuck in your brain, but you may have to on your own do a little bit of studying to find the difference in these two and how they work, okay? It's similar to what we did yesterday. You're still gonna find the difference a lot of times, depending on how it's worded, and then do your division to find your percent, small divided by large, okay? All right, let's look at what your book says. If you don't have it open still from doing homework, open up to 91, let's read together. You've probably already read over it. But it says, use these steps to find the percent of decrease. Find the numerical decrease. The numerical decrease of a stock market that goes from 9,000 points to 5,000 points is 1,500. So it's like this one. It started here, it ended down there, but we don't know what happened in between the two. Okay, so they subtracted. Find what percent the numerical decrease is of the original number. Okay, our original number here was 60. Original number on this example was the 9,000. Okay, and the decrease always is your numerator, and the number on the number is always the denominator of the fraction. So you see here, when they did that their difference in the two is going to be the numerator, 1,500. And then on the bottom is going to be the original 9,000. Reduce the fraction to the lowest terms. On this one you could drop zeros and also reduce and then do your division. Look at example 511. Okay, it says the calculator originally sold for $45 but is now reduced to $30. We don't know the difference between the two yet. Was there, here, now, and we're going to have to subtract. Okay, so 45 minus 30 is 15. The number you found when you subtract your numerator, and then you go to the original number they gave you, sold for 45. That's your base, and then on this one you can reduce it like you see here, 1/3. You have it memorized, 0.33, 33%. Okay? All right, let's work through practice problems 1 and 2 together, and then I'll let you do some of these on your own. Hopefully you're still listening up here to see how these work. Okay? Over here on number 1, it says it was 450 and it's now 375. Okay, now. So when you see that, you have to subtract 375. You have to set to 75. 75 is going to always be our numerator on the top. 75 divided by, and the original cost, okay, was $4.50. Okay, so make sure you get $4.50, not this one, but the first number they gave you. So $4.50 goes on the bottom, and then that will reduce to 3/18. That will reduce to 1/6, and you have this one memorized as 0.16 repeating. Okay, if you want to move your decimal over twice, you think 16.6666, and you have to think about that because this does make it round. So you need to make sure you write it. It says find the percent of decrease to the nearest whole percent. Okay, so that's going to be 17%. And am I finished? Is that my final answer? Hopefully you said no because I'm missing something. You have to put the word decrease. Okay, decrease. So it's 17% decrease from $450 to $375. Okay. All right, let's look at number 2. You can walk through it with me, talk about it. You probably already have it figured out. They had 18 credit hours, and they dropped 2 credits. So that already told you the difference. Okay, the difference was 2, so you don't have to do any subtraction on this one. Okay, so you just set it up correctly. Small divided by large when you're looking for a percent. Anytime you see the answer has to be in a percent, it's always small divided by large. Okay, if you set it up that way, it always throws it into a decimal, and you can change it into a percent. Okay, so 2/18, you already probably done this, it reduces to 1/9. You've memorized that, so it's 0.1 repeating, and so that's going to give you 11%. Of course, the 111 isn't going to make it round. And am I done? No, because we have to write the word decrease. Okay, at this time, turn your page to 92, and I want you to pause your video and work on 3, 4, 5, and 6 to start the video when you're ready. You finish those 4 problems, and we'll talk about them together, see if you got it right. Okay, hopefully you got those written down, and you're not just waiting for me to put it on the board. You need to work it out yourself, and then as I work it, you look at your work and make sure you follow the right procedures and that you got the right answer. Okay, on the first one it says original price was 76. It marked off 12, so we know they already took 12 away, so you don't have to do your subtraction on this one. So you just put 12 over 76, small divided by large again, equals, you can reduce it down to 3/19, and then when you do your long math, you do 3 divided by 19, make sure you get the numbers right, just like you're reading downward, 3 divided by 19, 3 divided by 19. I know when I do a percent, I've got to go to this place, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. You've got to go to the thousandths to make sure that number doesn't round, because they usually say round to the whole percent. Okay, so when you do 19, you bring your decimal up, 19 won't go into 3, 19 will go into 30 one time, minus 19. Bring down your 0, it'll go into it 5 times, 5 times 19 is 95. When you subtract, you get 1, 5, bring down your 0. It'll go into 157 times, 7 times 19 is 133. You still subtract just so that you can compare these two to make sure this number was large enough, or if it was too small or too large to get it right. It is smaller, so you know you're done. You don't have to keep going till it terminates, because we just need to see this one. We need to see the thousandths to see if it's going to round, and this one will round. So you go over 2 times, you have 15.7%. It says round to the nearest percent, so that'd be 16%. And again, I'm asking you, am I done? No, you have to write the word decrease. Okay? All right, on number 4. The class size one year was 16, the class size the next year was 12. How much of a change did happen between 16 and 12? There's a change, so you do have to subtract. And when you take 16 minus 12, you get 4. That's going to be your numerator. And the original number they talked about the first year was 16, so that's on the bottom. It reduces to 1/4, which I already know is 25%. And I know you already put this on your paper or in your book. Decrease. Okay? And number 5, last year, 1,380. Price this year at 1,310. We can already tell that it went down. And we know that we don't know the difference. We know when it was here and what it was there, but we don't know what happened between the two. So you've got to subtract first. 1,380 minus 1,310. You probably did that in your head already. Is 70. So 70 is my numerator. And the original cost they gave me was 1,380. Excuse me. That'll reduce down to 7 and 138 because you get rid of your zeros. Alright, and then when you do your division, now pay attention right here. I know y'all think you can long divide all day long, but several of y'all are still making some mistakes in long division, so pay attention really quickly right here. So we got 7 divided by 138, okay? Again, we've got to go 3 places, so I'm going to go ahead and annex my 3 and bring my decimal up. You've got to make sure you line everything up. That's why I like how I put it on a notebook paper, so you have plenty of room to line things up and you're not trying to cram it in on this little bitty piece of book. Okay, we look at 138. Won't go into 7. Will it go into 70? And of course it won't, but you've got to make sure you bring that 0 up, because if you don't, your decimal ends up in the wrong spot, okay? So now we go all the way over to 700. 138 will go into 700. We got a 0 there, okay? So it goes in there 5 times. 5 times 138 is 0, let me line it up, 0, 9, 6. Okay, when you subtract, you end up with 1, 10. Alright, borrow all that good stuff, 1. So you bring this one down, 100. Will 138 go into 100? And you know it won't. You've got to put that 0 there. Now in this particular case, it wouldn't be as important because we know it's not going to cause it to round. But if you were going to continue until it terminated, you would need that 0 on that place, or it would make your number and your answer wrong, okay? So we've gone far enough because we just need it to go 2 times. 1, 2, so it'd be 5.0, and we don't show zeros after a decimal, so it'd be 5%. And am I done? No, we gotta put the word decrease. Alright, one more, and then we're gonna talk about something else. Hopefully you're getting all this, you're working it out, understand it in your head. Okay, let's look at number 6. It was 147, and it came down $13. Guess what? They've already done the subtraction for you. It reduced $13. So on this one, all you have to do is put 13 over 147, small divided by large, because our answer is a percent that we're looking for. Anytime you're looking for this answer is a percent, small divided by large, okay? Alright, this one you have to do the long math. It does not reduce, so you're just going to have to do 13 divided by 147. I'm going to go ahead and put my decimals in place, annex my 3 zeros, because I've got to go that far for percents. And then you start your division. Just like we did a while ago, you look at 147 and say, will 147 go into 130? That's your first 3 numbers and 3 numbers. Of course, no, it won't, but you've got to put that 0 there. If you don't, it messes you up, okay? Now we can go over to 1,300, and it'll go into it 8 times. And then do that, it's 176, line everything up. When you subtract, you get 1, 2, 4. You're going to bring down your 0. It will go into it 8 times again. 1176. When you subtract that, you get 64. Just do that so you make sure that you did it right, that this number is correct. This number's gotta be smaller than this one for you to have the right number in the answer, okay? And then you move it over twice, 1, 2, so you get 8.8%, and they said round to the nearest whole. This will make it round, so 9%, and I'm not done, cause you have to write the word decrease. You're gonna get so tired of me saying decrease, but hopefully it'll stick in your brain when you do quizzes and tests, so you'll get full credit. I don't wanna count off because you left off that word. Alrighty, hopefully y'all got this, and have any questions, email me, and I'll try to explain it a different way, to make it good for you. Okay, let's look at 92. Complete this chart. Find the answer to the nearest whole percent. Label as an increase or a decrease, and that's why I told you we have to make sure you label it because we don't know. But what I usually do is right off the bat, I write that word so that I don't forget it. And especially in this particular case, it's real easy to see the difference. You can just do this by looking at the problem. It doesn't take a lot of brain power. In October, it was $3 on number 7. In March, it was $2. So from 3 to 2, is that an increase or a decrease? And of course, everybody's yelling, decrease. Go ahead and write decrease over there in that column where it says percent of increase or decrease, because you already know it's going to go down, you just don't know the math yet. Okay, look at number 8. From $2 to $3.50, increase or decrease? And of course, y'all said increase, so go ahead and write increase there. Number 9, $1.50 to $80. Yes, it decreased, so go ahead and write decrease. And then number 10, $110 to $130, it automatically increased. You can see that it went up. So go ahead and put those words in there, and then let's go back and do the math, and you'll see the percentages there, okay? On number 7, you gotta find out the difference between $3 and $2, okay? Y'all can do that in your head all day long. It's 1. That's your numerator. And then your original number of these two was 3, so 1 over 3. So you're gonna subtract when you're finding decrease, find the difference by subtracting. You ended up getting 1. The original number they gave you was the 3, and y'all have this memorized. 3 is point what? Y'all, I can't hear you. Teasing. 0.3 repeating. Okay, so when you move your decimal over twice, if you wanted to keep going, it would be 33, and this didn't make it round, so it'd be 33%, and we have to put a word on it, decrease. Was this the one that decreased? Yes, whew, it was the one that decreased. You already had the word there, I didn't have it on the board. Okay, the next one. $3.50 minus $2. Whatever answer you found would be your numerator. $2 was your original number, so you divide by 2. And when you do that, reduce, you get 75%, and you've already written increase there. $1.50 minus 80, find the difference in those two, put that as your numerator. Your denominator or your base is $150. Then you can drop zeros if you can get it to 100 on the bottom, any of these things, or you can reduce it, and you should have got 47% decrease. And then the last one, 110 minus 130, or 130 minus 110. Write that number as your numerator. Your base is going to be the first number they gave you, 110. And then when you finish the math, you should have had 18% increase. Okay. All right, let's look at problem solving. We're almost done, and then we'll give you the homework assignment. I know it's Wednesday, but you're there at home. You got extra time for this math hour. I know you're doing a little later than 10 since we had technical difficulties this morning. If you can lip read, you could have seen my lesson first thing this morning. But now, hopefully, you've got some sound and we'll do really well. A lot better, I hope. Number 1 in the problem solving. The zoo had 48 monkeys until 15 were sold. We already know that it reduced. The difference is 15. So you don't have to do any subtraction on this one. Find the percent of decrease to the nearest whole percent. Remember, you're going to have to write the number or write the word decrease. Okay? So this one's easy. You put 15 over 48. Okay? That'll reduce down to 5 over 16. And then you have to do your math. 5 divided by 16. Make sure you set this up right. 5 divided by 16. 5 divided by 16. And then you got, set up your zeros. 1, 2, 3. 16 will go into 50 3 times. That's 48. 2, bring down your 0. 1 time there is 16. 4, bring down your 0. 2 times 16 is 32. You got 8, just check it to make sure you did it right. And you don't have to go any further, you don't have to terminate it, because we just need to see if this one's gonna change it. And we end up with 31%. Am I done? Is that my final answer? Hopefully you said no, because you need the word decrease. Okay, let's look at number 2. The ticket to the zoo cost $6.50 before increasing to $8. Okay, we know it went up, but we don't know the difference between the two, so you are going to have to subtract. When you subtract, you get $1.50, right? And you put $1.50 over the original cost. It originally cost $6.50. Okay, and drop our zeros. Make sure you set it up right, just like you read. You're going to say 1.5 divided by 6.5, right? You've got to move it over 1 to get rid of this decimal in your divisor, so move this one over 1. Nice and doesn't look right. I think I could reduce. I can reduce. Let's reduce first. 1 over 5 will reduce down to 0.3 and 1.3. Alright, that's much easier. I like smaller math. Okay, so 0.3 divided by 1.3. Now we're going to move the caret again. Move it over here. It's not there anymore. It's right here. And I'm going to add my 3 zeros because I have to go that far for percents. So now we're looking at 13 into 30. Okay, 13 will go into 32 times. And that gives you 26. When you subtract, you have 4, bring down your 0. 13 will go into 43 times. That's 39. When you subtract, you end up with 1, bring down your 0. Check to make sure that it's right, and you're done, because you say, will 13 go into 10? No, and it also won't make it round. So you've got 23%, and don't forget your words again, increase. Because we know the money went up. Okay? Hopefully you got all of that. If you have any questions, again, just email me. Let's look at what is going to be your homework. I really want you to go ahead and work these, practice them. It's a review over things that we've done already, and we have our exam coming up next week. So don't skip these. You may think, oh, we've done this before, I already know that. You need to practice so you don't forget it. But one of the things I want to review really quickly is greatest common factor. Remember, this is not your contest one. So the greatest common factor, if I have 2, 2, 2, 3, okay, and if I have 2, 2, 3, and 5, okay, on greatest common factor, you're going to make your circles go this way. You just got to memorize the process. You may not understand it or remember, but if you memorize the process, you'll get the right answer, okay? So on greatest common factor, you go this direction, and you only use the number 1 time, okay? So they have 2's in common, and they have 3's in common, and I'm done. That's the things they have in common. So 2 times 3 is 6, and that gives you your greatest common factor. Okay, let's look at least common multiple. Remember, this is the game. You gotta find the winner, okay? If we did the same thing on this particular one, we could do 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 3, 5. We'll get a totally different answer, okay? They're not the same. Because on this one, we're going to do the circles the other way. Who's the winner? Who has the most 2's? This one has the most 2's. And we use every single one of them in least common multiple, okay? Over here, you only use it once. You use 1, 2, 1, 3. This one, you have to use every number at least once. Okay? Except for the loser. Okay? This one won, so this one lost. You don't use that one. Okay? On this one, they have the exact same, so you only use it one time. We're going to use it here since all the 2's are already here and not there. And we haven't used the 5 yet, so we're going to use it as well. Okay? I'm just moving it up so we can do the math. And then to find your least common multiple, you just multiply 5 times 3 is 15, 15 times 2, 30, 30 times 2, 60, 60 times 2 is 120. Okay? So that you have the least common multiple. Hopefully you remember that because you're going to have some of that on your homework tonight. We're almost done, so you still have a little bit of time in the hour that we have for class. Take your time when you're doing rounding to the hundredths or thousandths or tenths to make sure you're doing that right. Some of you are still struggling with that. If they ask you for a percent of decrease or increase, make sure you put your number there. Okay, so for your homework tonight, I really want you to do page 92, 1 through 10 you can do in your book, I'm pretty sure. It doesn't take a lot of room, but please, 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 on 11 through 19, I want you to put it on notebook paper so you can really see that long division. Number 11 is long division. You're going to need to be able to see that subtraction and making sure all your numbers stay lined up to get it right. And number 12 is multiplying by 4 numbers, so you've got a lot of rows of multiplying that needs to stay lined up. Okay, so do those in your on your notebook paper. I think that's it. Thanks for watching today. I hope that you have an awesome day and do really good. Enjoy your math. It's going to be something that will help you from now on throughout your whole life. So anyway, have a great day. Bye.